There we are. If you don't want to be on recording, please shut yourself up. Mostly it's recording me because I'm the one who's talking. So if you could stay muted, then you won't show up on the recording. I'm just going to mute you, Lynn. And it'll mostly be me. Later we'll have a Q&A and you can ask me anything. And then we'll go from there. All right, so welcome to the September reset. We are in the last final days of summer, the dregs of summer, and we want to make the most of them. And we're thinking ahead to September. Everybody thinking ahead to September already? The fall market is just like creeping up on us and we want to be ready for it. And so when I was thinking this month about, I do a live training like this every month. It's my way of giving back to the community, but also allowing people to have an experience of me and meet me, and I get to meet you. And so I want to thank you for being here. And when I was thinking about the topic I wanted to cover today, I'm a former high school teacher. Before I was a realtor, I taught high school for 15 years. So this time of year is like gearing up to school. I think I taught Gary's kids actually. Yeah. And we have that feeling of gearing up for school. And my sister and brother-in-law are teachers. My other sisters had men at a school in Surrey. So they're all gearing up and I'm like, this is awesome. I'm pretty chill. And it's great. So when I think about that, resetting your focus and re-energizing, like we've had the summer to kind of rest and relax, and now's the time to turn our attention to really gearing up. And those of you who worked with me before know that I often talk about the importance of having a re-entry strategy after you take a break. If you just arrive back from vacation or holiday or even summer without a plan in place, you'll find yourself flustered and scattered and all over the place. And so to have a re-entry strategy is so valuable. And when it's from vacation, I literally like tell people, take 2 days, get home, do your laundry, get yourself sorted, make your plan. And if you can make a plan before you leave, even better. I've done this with some of my clients on the call here where we said, you're coming back. What's going to happen that first morning that you're back? Have an appointment scheduled, have something set up so that you're back into business and you're not having to come back from vacation and go, what am I supposed to be doing? I remember at the end of summer when I was a teacher, I would always come back going, I don't remember how to be a teacher. And I would spend that first week, right now, the teachers are all in school right now, remembering how to be teachers. As realtors, if you've taken some time off this summer, it's time for you to remember how to be a realtor. The fall market is going to gear up. My intuition tells me that things are going to get a little bit better. We're going to have a little bit more activity. People are getting more confident. And so we want to be ready for that. We want to be ready to be able to serve them. So let's get you focused and energized for your real estate business in the September market. Okay. I talk about the September effect being that place. It's new beginnings, right? September, January. So let's capture that September effect. You're going to see me look down because I'm actually looking at my notes to make sure I don't go off script, because when I go off script, I end up talking for too long. So I want to make sure I make the most of your time. So just let me acknowledge you again for being here, taking the time out of your summer, the last days of your summer, to be here. Tell me who you are and what you're all about, and that you're taking a stand for your business being the best it can be. Really quickly about me. I was a high school teacher for 15 years. A minor car accident led to me doing a career change. I couldn't do the marketing anymore. And so I had to try something new. My realtor, the wonderful Emily O, said to me, you should be a realtor. You'd be really good at it. I was awesome at it. I made a lot of money. I did really well. And it wasn't my passion. My passion is teaching. Anybody who's met me before knows that. And so once I figure something out and how to make it work, I love teaching it. And that's how I transitioned into coaching. And I've been having so much fun with this for the past 5 years now, coaching high performers, coaching some people who actually were my colleagues before I became a coach. And that's really exciting to have them trust me that way. And because I bring a background of education and success in business to my coaching. So I've basically run successful businesses for the last 12 years. I know what I'm talking about. So, and there's some things that I will share with you today that I share with my clients. One of my rules as a coach is that I will not ask my clients or my audiences to do anything I haven't tried myself. I will go there first to make sure you get what you need. So my request for you today is that you will listen for insight, not agreement. Like, it's not rocket science, right? A lot of you have been in the business for a long time. So what I'm sharing is not rocket science, but sometimes we just need that little reminder to help us refocus and readjust and get energized again. And so that's what I'm going to share with you today. So my request is that you listen for insight, not agreement. I want you to take away something from today that's valuable to you. And if you're listening for agreement, what will happen is you will go, oh, I know that. Aren't I clever? And nothing will change. Because your brain doesn't know the difference between you agreeing to do something and you recognizing that you know that it's true. Okay, so we want to make sure that you are listening with intention to get the insight. The other thing is to listen with intention. Intend to have something today that you're going to take away that's going to be valuable for you, that you can take a stand for your business being better than it is now. I mean, wouldn't we all agree that we all want our businesses to be better? This is why we're here, right? You wouldn't be here if you didn't think there's a little something I could tweak in my business to make it even better, right? So let's listen with intention. Okay, everybody good with that? All right, so here's a little pop quiz for you. Who is the author of this next line? Old habits die screaming. Anybody know who that is? Do you love it? Old habits die screaming. They do. We resist, right? Currently, our brains are like, what's the problem? We're safe. We're not dead yet. We're not in any risk. Why would we change anything? And then you start making changes and they will fight back. So the author of that line, since nobody knows it, you're going to know, you're going to be about to discover, I'm a massive Taylor Swift fan. She's a poet. I'm an English literature major and she's a poet. And I just so appreciate her so much. And that line is so true. Old habits die screaming. And when we're aware of that, we can adjust for them and know that like they're going to die screaming if we're not gentle with them. So that's what I want you to do. So the first habit we're going to look at creating and introducing is to, and this is my first key. I told you, I promise you 3 keys to get you refocused and re-energized. And the first is this: revisit your powerful goal. I'm assuming you have a powerful goal. Clients who've worked with me, we do our business planning retreat in November. They have a powerful goal. We set powerful goals, and not as a place to get to, but a place to come from. So powerful goals are a place to come from. They will inspire you. I'm going to share 2 examples with you, and then I'm going to ask you to share with me your powerful goal, because well-documented scientific fact, successful people tell themselves stories about how things are going to go, and your goal is the story you're telling. So I had a conversation yesterday with a coaching client, and we revised his powerful goal because he kind of lost focus over the summer. And, you know, I said, well, what is your goal? Is your goal to have a comfortable life? And he's like, yeah, I guess. I'm like, good luck with that. Because if you're wanting a comfortable life, you're not going to be willing to get uncomfortable enough to make it happen. So we reframed that. His powerful goal, which was way more exciting for him, he totally lit up when we landed on it, was to have an inspired, adventurous life. And that was way more inspiring, way more interesting to him. That was a powerful goal to come from. So every day when he gets up, and he's currently, and some of you might relate to this, cleaning up his database. He's got like 500 people. He hasn't been in touch with them for a long time. And, you know, he's like, oh, but it's going to be so awkward. And like, oh no, like what if there's awkward and like, he can't get himself to make those calls. And so what if you start with that making those calls is helping you to achieve that powerful goal. You want to create a life for yourself that is inspiring, adventurous, and you want to do it by being of service to people. So get out there and serve them. My powerful goal that I come from every day is that I want to be of service to 1,000 people in creating their most aligned and prosperous businesses. And specifically realtors, because I know your world. I know what it's like, and it's so easy. Like there's a recipe for burnout and inconsistent cash flow right there in this industry that I want to break that myth. You do not have to be working 24/7, and you do not have to be struggling with feast or famine cash flow. You absolutely do not have to have that. It can be more consistent. I was fortunate enough to have some really great mentors who taught me that early. And so that's my goal that I come from. So there's times when I might be feeling a little bit tired and I don't want to do it. And I remind myself every single day during my meditation in the morning, this is my goal. Hey, Jenny, this is my goal that I'm coming from. So a powerful goal is a place to come from. So if you dare, I would love for you to share your powerful goal in the chat. Because when we have that powerful goal, that is the place that we can come from that will energize and inspire us to move forward. And if you don't feel like you want to share that publicly, and you're okay to share it with me directly, privately, and okay if I say it out loud, that's good too. So what is your powerful goal that inspires you every day? Is it that you want to have an adventurous life where you've got the freedom to have adventures? Is it that you want to put your kids through college? What is it? Is it that you want to own several investment properties? You know, I'm just making things up. So give me something. Okay. Okay, Sandy, powerful goal to pay off the mortgage. Yes, and ultimately retire. Yes, right? The powerful goal of paying off the mortgage. Now, Sandy, I would encourage you to dig a little deeper and say, well, what is that going to give you if you pay off your mortgage? Because sometimes paying off a mortgage, like paying down, like, and I don't think of mortgages as debt, but sometimes paying that off doesn't feel inspiring. Like, oh, I got to get up this morning and make my calls, have to pay off my mortgage. Like, that may inspire you. It doesn't inspire me. I want to pay off my mortgage too. And I actually frame it in a different way, right? That I want to be free to own my own home. I want to own my own home outright. So I'm free to just like hop off and spend a month in Costa Rica if I feel like it. Okay. I do that anyways, but I want to do that more. So, right, what does it give you? And Jenny, yeah, to make a difference, even a small one in someone's life. Yeah, to be of service. So if that's your powerful goal every day. And Jenny, I think you just missed it. You know my powerful goal because we've talked about it. I've been on Jenny's podcast and Jenny was a client of mine, is that my powerful goal is to be of service to at least 1,000 people creating a aligned and prosperous life. Yeah. Lynn, semi-retire and provide a happy life for my partner, myself. Yes. And we want to feel into that every morning. What is that going to give you? How's that going to feel in your body, in a reality? And you imagine, you know what you want, and you think about what it's going to feel like to have it. That's how we come from a powerful goal. Because otherwise you're like, well, life kind of sucks right now, but I'm going to try to get to that place where I can then have the happiness. I can then have the freedom, all those things, instead of like, how's it going to feel now? Who do I need to be right now to come from this powerful goal and be led by it? Okay. So yeah, Scott, awesome. To develop a comprehensive 5-year plan towards retirement with my wife. All right. So I want you to focus, Scott, on your retirement with your wife and what that's going to feel like so that you can be energized by that. Okay. So developing a plan is awesome. I absolutely think you should be doing a plan and having a plan around your goal. But we also want to start with like, how's it going to feel? Wow, 5 years from now, be completely free to retire and enjoy time with your wife. Like that can be that energy that motivates you in the morning. So I want to encourage you to do that. All right. So that's the first of the 3 keys for energizing yourself and getting your focus back. Anchor in to your powerful goal. One of the things that I do with my clients is we do the goal setting like that, but we also dig into with a profit plan. I'm not going to talk about that too much today. If you're with the Real Estate Board of Greater Vancouver, you will have access to the profit planning workshop that I did for the Real Estate Board back in January or February of this year, January. And, you know, you can dig into what it is to profit plan. That's another type of goal setting and understanding your numbers. So I'm not just about the like feel good goal. I think it's an important thing. Feel the powerful goal, feel it your body, be inspired by it. And can you hear the vacuum cleaner? No? Okay, good. My cleaning lady's here, she's not supposed to be here in the morning, but she came in the morning. So I told her to stay away from my door, but I can hear it. So yay Zoom and their noise canceling. So the powerful goal is about that thing you feel into and it inspires you and it motivates you to take action. And we also want the profit plan, right? That's that 5-year comprehensive plan. Here's how much money I need. Okay. So I'm equal parts soul and strategy. Feel it and be practical about mapping out how much money you need to get there to make that dream a reality. Okay. But our focus right now is just feeling into that goal, right? And framing it in a way that's so inspiring for you when you tell yourself that every morning, okay, I'm starting from this goal where I'm going to impact 1,000 people this year. I'm going to make a difference in one person's life today, whatever that is. If your goal is to make a difference in one person's life every day, great. Start your day reminding yourself and your brain that's what you're here for. Okay. If there's any questions, any insights, anything you want to like, that's an insight. You want to grab that. There's something you wrote down, share it with us in the chat. I'd love to know what the takeaways are so far. And I'm going to move to point number 2. Okay. So key number 2 for, oh, hang on. Before I move to number 2, there's something I heard the other day that I want to share with you about goals. Make sure you're not time traveling. And what I mean by that is we can spend a lot of time regretting the past. Oh my gosh, I should have done this before. And fearing the future. Oh no, what's going to happen if? That we don't actually ground ourselves in our powerful goal. The only place great things are created from is here and now. So what action can you take today that's inspired by your powerful goal? Right? And that's what I do in coaches. I help people break that down. Some of you are probably really good at that. Some people need help. I need help. I have a coach because I need help breaking those things down. I am a visionary. I see the big picture, and sometimes I need somebody just to say to me, do this next. So take that step for yourself and in the present moment. All right. Ready for number 2? Okay. To get your focus and energy back. If you're going to school, you'd be sharpening your pencils, wouldn't you? Yeah. Yes, Lynn. Don't lick the lead. And we sharpen our pencils. So how are we going to sharpen our skills? And one of the things you're doing is coming here, right? To take a stand for your business. And that's why I want to acknowledge you again for being here to take a stand for your business. And you want to look at what are the ways that you can take a stand for your business going forward. And it could be that it's some skills that you need to develop to support your clients. So I've spent a lot of time in the last few weeks helping my clients figure out what to say when they don't know what to say. It's a big part of what I do in my coaching is helping people with language of sales leadership. And especially right now, you're having a lot of conversations about price adjustments. You're having a lot of conversations about fees, right? I've had so many people come to me saying, oh, people are asking me for a fee adjustment and a commission cut, right? And because there's a scarcity mindset out there right now with sellers and even buyers. There's fear about losing money. And so those conversations are happening. So do you need to up level your sales leadership language skills so that you can be better prepared? There's lots of books you can read on that. There's some amazing, amazing books. One of the books that I teach from largely, and I'm really inspired by, was Chris Voss's Never Split the Difference. There's a lot of tools in there that I use with my clients regularly and teach them from. And there's several others as well, but that's one of my favorites. It's required reading for all my clients. And really sharpening your skills as a leader. And that comes down to language. I'm an English teacher, guys. A lot of work I do is around language and words and how we frame things. The other thing is boundaries, right? Setting really clear boundaries for your time and your energy, how you're using them, right? Do you have, you're answering phones all the time? Do you have set hours? How are you communicating that to your clients? So if you sharpen those skills of leadership, how you're talking to your clients, how you're leading them through the process. People are nervous right now. If they're selling, they're nervous about losing money. If they're buying, they're nervous about spending too much, right? Again, it's a losing money thing. It's a scarcity focus. And how do you guide them through that? So sharpening your skills so you can learn how to really approach them with curiosity and compassion and empathy and really get yourself out of the way so you can be of service to them. Because if you're feeling anxious about cash right now too, because it's been a tricky year for a lot of realtors, right? You're feeling anxious about cash too. You need to get that out of the way so that you can focus on really, really being of service. So that's the sharpening your skills, right? So that you can really support your clients to achieve their goals in this very unique market climate. You're called upon right now. I'm talking to people, I've got clients who've been in the business for 27 years, 20 years, and we're having different conversations. You need to sharpen your pencils and have those different conversations from a place of, what worked in the past doesn't work now. The conversation we had the other day with one of my clients was like, a past client of hers asked for a fee reduction on a listing, and she didn't know quite how to handle it. She was so shocked by it. She was actually kind of offended by it, and shut down the conversation and didn't get the listing, which is kind of sad, right? Yeah, thanks to me. So it's how to keep that conversation going. Everything is a negotiation. So you want to be prepared to enter into negotiation with every conversation you have, not to win, but to recognize you're in that negotiation. You don't have to give anything away, but you still have to stay in the game and have that conversation. And she said, well, I don't know what to say, because in the olden days I could have said, sure, yeah, we can talk about price adjustments. We can talk about a fee, a commission. We can negotiate commission. How much more would you like to pay? And some of you have heard that. You've been in the business for a while, right? And it's a cheeky little thing that if you're excuse me, but if you're a white dude in the 70s, you could say that and get away with it, right? Most people can't get away with that today, right? And know your audience, of course, in some cases you can, but let's be real. That's really an old school sales tactic. It's clever and cute, and people, if they're triggered by their money fear and their anxiety, they're not going to find it funny. Okay. And it's actually dismissive of their experience. And so we want to check in. It's like, yeah, sure, we can definitely talk about that. You're not agreeing to anything, but you're willing to talk to them about it. And then you can go into explaining, well, here's what it costs, right? And the whole thing. I've got a training for that inside my academy. But anyway, so sharpening your pencil, sharpening your skills, right? So from what I've shared, I'd love to hear from you. What is it you think is a skill that you're going to want to work on in September? Maybe it's grabbing the book. Maybe it's there's another book called Boundaries. There's a great book called The Book of Boundaries. I love this book because if you're having trouble setting boundaries with clients, then that's a great one for you. Okay. Welcome. Yes, some other people coming in. So that's number 2. So thinking about what are those skills that you can develop to support your clients. I really think the main one right now is the language of sales leadership, really sharpening your skills. You've got to be able to have those conversations and go deeper. And the realtors who are successful right now are the ones who are really comfortable having the tough conversations. It's the realtors who are like, well, I'm so afraid that they're going to get mad at me if I bring this up, or like if I say what they don't like. It's like, your job is not to be liked. Your job is, or to even be nice to them. Your job is to tell them the truth. And sometimes that can be really challenging for us. We're all Canadians here, right? We're so polite and we're so conflict averse, right? You're not, but Canadians tend to be polite and conflict averse. And so we don't want to have those tough conversations. And yet we need to learn to be really, really neutral about the conversations we're having, especially when money's involved, because everybody gets getting all emotional and triggered, right? I'm not going to tell you this story. It's going to take too long to tell it, but there's a hashtag money and elbows. So I'll tell you about it later. Okay. So that's number 2, sharpen your skills, right? Yes. Thank you, Jenny. Refining your communication skills. Yes. And you know what, Jenny, we know that that's ongoing, right? Like, I have a master's degree in literature. I taught literature for 15 years. I learned the language of sales leadership. I landed in real estate when I first joined the McDonald Realty. That's where I started. And I looked around, I'm like, oh man, I am in a foreign country and I do not speak this language. So I set about to learn the language of sales, and now I teach it. Right. So yeah, Scott, doing more education to elevate my awareness of client conversation, increase market knowledge. Yeah, absolutely. Increasing your market knowledge, like, it's changing, but the education to elevate your awareness of client conversations, I got you on that. That's my specialty. Okay. So knowing what you need is a great place to start. And somebody else posted something in the chat about Surrounded by Idiots. Is that a book, Jenny? Yeah, okay, so I hope so, because I'm like, Jenny doesn't talk like that. Refining my communication. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And there's so many great books that can help you to understand where people are coming from. And it's a lot of the work that I do inside my coaching programs, inside the Aligned and Prosperous Academy, and the things that I share on masterclasses like this as well. All right, let's move to number 3, because we're talking about this top three things you can do to, or 3 things you can do to get your focus and energy back in this time of year as we're slipping into September. We want to get that September effect, that excitement of getting back and starting new. So the first one, for those of you who just joined the call, is the come from a powerful goal. You can go back and watch the replay to get the first part, that in detail, right? Powerful goal is a place to come from. Let it inspire you. Check in with it every single day. What is my goal? Number 2, sharpen your pencils. Know what skills you need to work on. So often, as realtors, people sit around and like, okay, well, where's my leads? I don't know where to get leads, and I don't know where to get clients from, and like, it's bad. It's like, well, but what do you do with your skills? Like, we're not in a market where you can just like wait for things to come to you. It's the skilled agents who are actually doing business. I have several clients who are doing very well this year, despite the market. I have one woman who's doing her best year ever, on track to do $1 million. Okay. And she's got a small team of like 2 other people. So it's partly setting yourself up for that success, but it's also knowing how to navigate with people, because it's tricky right now. She's having to have more and more of those difficult conversations, and she's prepared for it. Okay. Okay, so let's move to number 3, and then I'm going to give you some time to get some coaching, have some questions for me. There are a lot, as I said before, there's a lot of things coming up. People like don't know what to say. I get these questions all the time of like, I don't know what to say. And that really comes down to a skill that you need to sharpen. I was a client of one of the biggest coaching companies in Canada, and I love them. I do adore them. And I learned a lot from them. And one of the things I can say is their scripts were crap, because they didn't know how to translate. I'm not saying that they didn't know what they're doing, because for sure they could do it in real time, but they weren't teachers. So they didn't actually translate that onto paper to give it to other people very well. That's what I do well. So, getting your scripts, creating scripts that are for you. I'm all about you being aligned in the way you speak. None of this nonsense about, pushing people and being salesy. All right. Number 3, some practical strategies to reignite your energy and make the most of this next few months of 2024. It's an artificial, we kind of measure our years in artificial ways, but let's just do a push, right? Towards this next part of the year being really great for you. And this is where I want to bring you into my daily non-negotiables. My daily non-negotiables, here they are. Take care of yourself, body, mind, and spirit. You are the most important asset in your business. If you're not getting enough sleep, you're not eating well, you're not exercising, you are not showing up as an elite performer in your business. You want elite results, you need to show up like an elite performer. You think those athletes that we just watched a few weeks ago in the Olympics were like half-assing it in their training and their diet? They certainly were not, right? They were going all in. They had mindset coaches, physical coaches, nutritionists. They've got everybody supporting them, so they're in optimal health and optimal performance. And I get it. I know it can be tricky in the real estate industry, because we have this story we tell ourselves that everything's urgent. This is where we go back to number 2 and talk about boundaries, right? Nobody dies in real estate, people. Nothing's urgent. Yep, time sensitive sometimes, for sure. But when we're overriding our physical needs for the sake of our business, we've lost sight of the reason we started our businesses in the first place. I don't think any of you started your business just to have the business. I think that's a fair assumption, right? You started your business because of the lifestyle you wanted it to give you. You wanted to have a certain lifestyle, a certain amount of freedom. You wanted to have a certain amount of income to support your lifestyle. You didn't get into business just to do your business all the time. And one of the best ways to shift yourself out of doing your business all the time is to put yourself first. Your oxygen mask first, taking care of yourself, body, mind, and spirit. If you don't, if I'm not going to go into the details of this, because I have another training on this in somewhere, it might be on my YouTube channel. But there's a routine you can go through in the morning. I got it from Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod. And it's called Savers, right? So silence, your meditation, your affirmations, your visualizations, exercise, reading or listening if you want to listen, and then journaling. People go, oh, you can't journal. I'm like, if you write one sentence a day, you write your powerful goal out once a day, that's journaling. I have some clients say, I can't journal. I'm like, can you write a sentence a day? Yeah, you can write a sentence a day. Yes, Lynn, the Book of Boundaries is the one I was referring to by Melissa Urban. Okay. And so taking care of yourself, that's the first of my daily non-negotiables. I don't talk to anybody before 9 o'clock. Like, I don't check my phone. I don't check my emails. I don't look, even text messages. I don't look. I don't look at my phone until I've done my meditation, my tapping, my yoga, and I've had my breakfast. I'm taking care of me first because I can show up better for you if I do that. And for myself, like I've created my business, both as a realtor and now as a coach, to support the life I want. And the life I want is that I get to eat my breakfast before I talk to anybody. I get to do my yoga before I talk to anybody. That's important to me. Okay. The next thing in my daily non-negotiables is to, once you've taken care of yourself, take care of your business. You're doing that today by being here. Take a stand for your business, for the love of your business. Like, if you don't care about your business, who's going to? You think about, I incorporated last year as a coach, and my company is called Aligned and Prosperous Coaching, Inc. I love that. It's just like so cool. And to think of that, and those of you who are incorporated, you know the feeling of having this other entity. But even if you haven't incorporated yet, your business is not you. It is this other thing you have created. And you are the only one who's going to take care of it. So take a stand for your business. Shameless plug here. Get a coach, right? Have a coach. And it doesn't have to be me. Honestly, does not have to be me. Have a coach. You all know the people in your industry and in your offices who are doing really well, usually are the ones who have coaches or have had some coaching, right? I came into this industry thinking, well, I don't know what the heck I'm doing. Unfortunately, I got introduced to coaching early on, made all the difference. I did 2 deals in the first 6 months and I did 15 in the second 6 months after I had a coach telling me what to do, right? So it makes a really big difference having somebody in your corner. So take a stand for your business. Hiring a coach is one way to take a stand for your business. Hire an assistant. Now, don't hire an assistant until you got your systems in place, because people always like, I want to hire an assistant to put my systems in place. But then if they leave, you have no systems anymore, right? So I'm like, you have to take a stand for your business first. And there's things that we can do to get you ready to onboard somebody and, you know, be really clear on what you want support with. Because often we're like, I'm overwhelmed. I need an assistant. I did this. I'm overwhelmed. I need an assistant, but I didn't actually know what they should do. So, you know, we want to be prepared for that. But that's the second way you can take a stand for your business, right? Get a coach, hire an assistant, or outsource some things. If you don't want to hire an assistant, there's lots of things you can outsource, right? You might love doing feature sheets in Canva, but that's a $25 an hour job that you should not be doing because your hourly rate is much higher and you're not talking to people. So, you know, maybe bring somebody in to do a business audit. Like I do those, right? Where you have looking at what systems you need to create. Maybe you need to say, okay, I'm going to take a stand for my business by getting this system taken care of right now because it's been making my life challenging and my business is going to be better for it. Okay. Take a stand for yourself, take a stand for your business. Okay. The next daily non-negotiable, grow your audience. And I say audience because we're all on social media, right? We're all in a world where we have our audience. People are watching you. Your next client is watching you right now and getting ready to hire you. So that's what I mean when I say grow an audience, right? Be aware that everybody's watching you. Your next $10,000, $20,000, $50,000 commission is on its way to you. And the person who's going to do that transaction with you is already watching. So growing your audience, having more people in your audience. One of the way I grow my audience is I share Once a month, I do a masterclass like this. I also share in my emails about what I'm doing and just thoughts that are going to help you and support you. And so I'm growing my audience by doing that, because my powerful goal is I want to be of service to helping 1,000 people create aligned and prosperous businesses. Okay, 1,000 realtors actually, because I see too many of them burnt out and broke. And I'm taking a stand for you that that does not have to be how it is. Okay. You're growing your audience, you're finding ways. I'm not going to get into the details of how ways to grow your audience. I'm doing and I'll talk about this in a moment, but I'm doing a CEO retreat. I do them a few times a year where we dig in deep to strategy and specifics of habits that you can do. I'm doing that in September, and I will share that information with you in a moment. So think about what you've done in the past, though, that works. How have you grown your audience in the past? We've got people here who have been in real estate for many years. We've got a couple of people who have been only on for a couple of years in real estate, but many of you have been for a long time. Tell us in the chat, what's worked for you in the past to grow your audience? My number one source of business as a realtor was open houses. Like, you came into an open house and you didn't have a realtor, you were leaving as my client. Okay, because my coach made me write a script for that. And I have a whole script and a whole system that led people through from, hello, I'm Deb, to let's book an appointment, to buyer agency conversation, to buyer agency agreement signed, right? And so, yeah, reviving old clients by just connecting again. Yes, Sandy, because we want to connect again, because and simply just saying, hey, I haven't been in touch for a while. My bad. How are you doing? And move on, right? Open houses, buyer seminars, absolutely, right? Getting in front of people. Notice there's a theme here. Talk to people, get in front of them, right? When you get in front of people, that's what makes all the difference in the world in your business to growing your audience. Yep, consistent mail drops, door knocking, when social media wasn't around. And some people still love doing door knocking. Another one of my clients, Tony, who's the co-host of In the House podcast with Jenny, loves door knocking. Like, I've written up a door knocking script, and we had an interview that I had inside my academy with Jenny. I was with Tony, and I hated door knocking, and I still was willing to try it. I did it. I tried it. Created a system. I still didn't like it, so I moved on. Right? I thought open houses were a waste of time. My coach said, do it anyway. Make a recipe for success. I made the recipe for success. It worked. I loved it. I kept doing it. So the thing is like, not just go, I hate doing it. I don't want to do it. I'm afraid people are going to not like it if I come to their door, right? Try it first before you say, I'm not going to do it. Yeah. Referrals. Yeah, Gary, and go back to where you built those referrals from. It comes from talking to people, right? And having conversations with people, right? And asking for them. And we had a session a while back on how to ask for referrals, and, and just be really nonchalant about it. Like, people know you're running a business. And if you're like embarrassed to ask for referrals, you won't get them. But if you're just really chill about it, like, hey, you know what? They said, how's the market going? You're like, it's a tricky time of year. It's a tricky season right now for realtors. Like, do you know anybody who could use help? Or I used to ask my clients when I finished them, like, hooray, you got an accepted offer. I just have an opening in my schedule has just happened because we've got you sold into something. Who do you know who could fill it? Who do you know who could help in that spot, right? So there's different ways of asking it. And pop buys, yeah, absolutely. All right. Conscious of time, I like to overshare and give you lots of information here, and I'm going to give you more about how you can get more information from me in just a moment. But so we've got grow your audience, do those things that have worked in the past. And there's lots of new things you can do too, but ultimately it's getting face-to-face with people. Even if it's like social media ads and, lead generation, other strategies and companies. I've never met a realtor yet who those lead generation companies actually worked for them, because they haven't taken the time to learn the skills to convert them. It takes a lot to convert those online leads, right? It's a skill. You can absolutely do it. And some people do it really well. I'm not saying you can't. And it takes a lot of skill development to be able to make the most of those kind of things. So ultimately, at the end of it, even if you have all those lead sources, you still have to be able to do the face-to-face, person-to-person conversation piece. Okay. Finally, my daily non-negotiables. Okay. Take care of yourself, take care of your business, grow your audience, and nurture your audience. Oh, P.S. One of the ways you grow your audience is to share what you do and make offers. I'm going to make an offer to you. at the end of this call where I invite you to check out the CEO retreat. And maybe it's for you and maybe it's not, but I'm gonna let you know about it. So I'm like, here's what I do. You're experiencing what I do. And I'm gonna make an offer to you. It's like, you want a little bit more of me? Come to this retreat or book a call with me and we can talk about how I can support you in coaching. But check out the retreat. It might be really helpful for you to spend a day deep diving in these topics we've talked about today. So share what you do, make an offer. As a realtor, your offer is simply to have a conversation. Somebody says, oh yeah, I'm never going to own a property. Like, how do you know that? You know what? You want to sit down and have a chat about like what might be possible for you? And this is a true story. I had a client say to me, I'm never going to own a property. And 6 years later, right before I was leaving real estate, I sold her in to her property, to her home. And that was pretty cool. It took me 6 years to get her in there. And I took her from, I'm never going to do it, to buying a home by inviting her, making an offer to have a conversation. I set her up with a mortgage broker. I set her up with a plan. We kept checking in from time to time. She was an acquaintance of a friend. She was an acquaintance. She was a friend of a friend. And we met her at a party or something. And she said that. I remember sitting with her and she told me that she never, I really want to, but I'm never going to be able to. I'm like, well, if you say that, that's true. And then we moved her into that. It was really kind of cool. So make the offer of having the conversation. And I was saying to people like, I don't care if you buy tomorrow or 6 years from now. I'll have a chat with you because that's my job, is to be in conversation. Okay. Final daily non-negotiable is to nurture your audience. So I just gave an example, like I made the offer to her for a conversation and then I nurtured her for 6 years. Checked in with her from time to time. How are you doing? How's that debt reduction plan going with Van City? Like she had gone on this whole plan that she got in place with her banker. And and I was just checking in and like, how's that going for you? So, and sometimes not even like, you don't even have to check in with like, do you want to buy or sell something? It's just like, hey, it's been a while since we talked. And like, it's really important to me to stay in touch with people in my community. So I wanted to follow up and say, hey, how are you? Is there anything I can do to be of service? Do you need a referral to a roofer? Do you need anything? I just met a really cool handyman last week and I'm calling all my clients to let them know. Right. So it's just, there's so many ways you can be of service to people by just reaching out and just checking in. Right. So yeah, keep calling them. So got it. Your daily non-negotiables. Cool. So let me just end with one thing about then we'll wrap up this focus and energy. So, and I want to hear your takeaways, but this last thing that I want to give you is that all of this, there are no quick fixes in real estate. Everything I'm sharing with you, the goal setting, the taking care of yourself, the growing your audience, nurturing your audience, it's all a process. It takes time. If you're having a dry season right now, what were you doing 3 months ago? What was going on in your life? What was going on in your business 3 months ago? Because often we can trace back like, oh, I wasn't in the game. I was distracted. I was like maybe busy with clients, or maybe I was going through a life event, and I wasn't as focused and as present in my business as I could be. And so that's what happens. So everything I'm doing right now, I'm always aware in my business that it's about what's happening 3 months ago. What I'm doing today determines what I'm going to be working on 3 months from now. And it's the same in real estate. That's where I learned that concept from. It's like, whatever I'm working on today is going to be what I'm working on 3 months from now. So, when I'm calling people, having these conversations, like you don't know exactly when they're coming. So it is a patience game. And patience, here's your quote of the day, is a muscle. Patience is a muscle that you need to develop, just like you develop other muscles. I work with a personal trainer regularly because I want to keep my muscles strong and healthy, because muscle is the fountain of youth. And patience is the muscle you most need in your business, especially as a realtor. Now, we want to set you up so that you got more going on than just patience, but patience was so key, right? People often come to me like, what's a quick fix? I had a guy last month, who came for a discovery call, and I'd actually met him somewhere else, and I offered him an Ask Me Anything call. He was a coach actually, and he'd found me on social media, and he's like, I'm watching you. Like, I want to know how how you're doing this and how you're getting to be so successful and you're out everywhere and what you're doing. So I said, yeah, book a call. Ask me, you can ask me anything. You have 30 minutes, ask me anything. And um, and I gave him all the steps that he can do to create clients. I'm not into getting clients. Nobody wants to be got. You create clients by building relationships. So I gave him all the steps of all the things I do to create clients. You know what he said to me at the end of it? Is there anything else I could do? Because he didn't want to do the steps, right? He wanted a quick fix. And so, of course, I did not make an offer to work with him. I do coach some coaches, and I didn't make an offer to work with him because he wanted a quick fix. He wasn't in that place or the mindset to build and be patient, because he was feeling anxious about money and all of those things. So it's about really developing that patience, knowing that it takes time to develop a business. And like every single day doing the daily non-negotiables is the way you're strengthening that patience muscle. Like, and focusing on the now. You're building that future. Remember, go back to the inspired future that you said you wanted, the powerful goal of retiring or paying off your mortgage, creating a life for you and your partner. Those powerful goals that you're coming from, you create them right now, today, in this moment, with the action you take, whether it's taking care of yourself. Because honestly, when you get there, you want to be healthy, right? So yeah, totally common with newer agents for sure. They just want an easy answer, right? And they think it's going to be easy. Like, oh, look at all those people making money in real estate. Oh, that'd be an easy profession, right? It's like, it's not, because you don't just like show up, get your license, and then suddenly it's just like people call you. You know, when I had somebody say to me, this woman that I knew, she was a coach, she was becoming a realtor, and she wanted, you know, I offered her to meet with me. I offered her coaching, didn't want it. But she's like trying to choose brokerages, and she asked me, which brokerage should I choose? And I'm like, well, choose the one where you feel like you're going to get the support. It feels aligned. So I'm going to go with this brokerage because they have a they have a luxury department. I'm like, so like, you're not going to get luxury listings if you don't know people who have luxury property. Right. So then what are you doing to put yourself in that position? Right. So we're all looking for that quick fix and the easy. And like they just don't know better. That's all. I mean, they learn, right? And we all want it. Who doesn't want luxury properties? Right. They're kind of fun to sell. And they're, you know, but it's different. And you know, to think that, oh, I'm gonna sell $1 million properties and it's gonna be like HGTV for the realtors. Like it's so easy for them, right? And it's so glamorous. It's not very glamorous when you're putting your open house out in the rain. There's nothing glamorous about that. So it's yeah, you know, it's putting in that work, taking a stand for your business. Okay, so there brings us to the end of the training. I just want to share with you real quickly about the CEO retreat. We are going to go deeper into these topics that I covered today at the CEO retreat. We'll have time to actually make a plan. Action plans, I go deeper, I share a lot more because I have more time. It's 10 to 4 p.m., 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the wonderful Blue Horizon Hotel on Robson Street in Vancouver. We're at the 33rd floor conference room. We can see these panoramic views of English Bay and the mountains, Mercer Mountains, and it's such an inspiring place. And I've always wanted to do an event there. It's my first one at this location. I'm super, super excited to share that with everybody. And yeah, and we'll go deep into the topics that we covered today and many more. I'm not going to list it all because for sake of time. And I will pop the link in the chat. I've extended early bird pricing because I realized as I was sending emails out this past week, I was getting a lot of like, I'm out of office, I'm on holiday till the end of the week. And so I've extended early bird pricing till the 31st. And there's also a few seats left. I have a limited number of bring a friend tickets, which are even less. It's 288 is my earlier bird pricing. It includes lunch and all the things, training, resources that I have hand out. And then the bring a friend is even better. It's 222 per person if you want to do that. So it's a really good deal. It's a really low investment to spend a day with me, coaching with me, and having that experience of what it is to be in my community and have that support. And we will be sitting down, and each of you will have time, if you come, to actually make your plan. It won't be just me talking at you all day. Like I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to talk to you. Now do it. Make your plan. create your story. What's it going to be? Set really specific goals. You got your big goal, your powerful goal, but what are the specific steps? And we're going to spend some time really figuring those things out. Okay. So love to see you there. It would be really awesome to see you there. So I'm going to pop the link for that right here in the chat. So you can go to it and check it out. And I'm going to take the next few minutes. We've got about 5 minutes left together. I would love for you to either share in the chat your takeaways from today, what's something you're going to take action on in your daily non-negotiables, like really specific. I'm about like specific, more specific, the better. Tell me what a takeaway is or something you're going to take action on. And then we will, in the meantime, I'll open it up for any questions you have, either about the retreat or about anything I shared today. Or maybe you have a question like, I have to have this conversation and I don't know what to say. Ask me now. This is your chance. Come on, you're realtors, you're not shy. Come on. So.
Scott, if you could just tell us briefly, like thumbnail sketch, what that a retreat event is, the CEO event. I saw 6 hours, but I saw 10 to noon and then lunch. So
yeah,
just give us a snapshot.
Yeah, so we do 10 to noon. We have a 40-minute lunch break, and then we've got the afternoon session where I'm teaching. So the agenda's in there. So my CEO, this is a shorter one. My November one's longer because we're doing business planning. It's more in depth, but this one 10 to 4, just a chance for you to step out of your business. There's a couple of times where like lunchtime gives you a chance to step away. I have lunch included because I want you to experience being the CEO where you're taken care of, right? Allowing yourself to be supported. Lunch is taken care of for you, so you don't have to go anywhere, figure it out on Robson Street in the middle of the day on a Friday. And then it's a great chance to network with other people during that time as well. And yeah, it's just a real time for you to be the CEO, step away from your business and be there. So yeah, schedule have a face-to-face meeting August 31st. Sorry, Jen, I'm not sure what you're saying. Deb, yeah, Deb's workshops are awesome. Thank you. I'm sorry you won't be able to make it, Jenny. I'd love to have that. And what is this face-to-face meeting? Oh, yeah, that's your goal. Sorry. I'm like, so yeah, schedule those 3 meetings face-to-face. Love having you at my meetings. So yeah, my workshops are awesome. My CEO days are awesome. People come away inspired with goals really clearly set and done. So there's more details actually in the link that I shared, so you can see the agenda and what we're going to be working on. And then of course there's more I haven't told you that yet as well, but it's going to be a very fruitful day. So any other questions, comments, takeaways? Let me see what we got here. Open house script. Yes, work on that. Join the Academy, Scarlett, and you can get access to mine. Yeah, thanks, Rob. He's gone. Yeah, he'll be at the retreat. Awesome. All right. So this is an opportunity. The September meeting, I maxed it at 40. So it's classroom size, right? I was a teacher. So 30, average size 30. Like so I maxed it at 40. I like having 30 in the room. Been through and actually managed to work. Okay, right. Yes, Gary, absolutely. Yeah, I have my own coach because I can't do for myself what I do for other people, right? She helps me stay focused. She helps me see things that are in my blind spot. And so, yeah, and as you'll see, having been through many other programs, Gary, I'm really curious to know what you see is different about me, because I know what my differences are, but I'm curious what you think is different. Yeah, Gurdeep, thank you so much for being here. You can go ahead and unmute yourself, Gary. Yes, Serene, I would like you to take care of yourself too. No skipping meals. Okay. Yeah. Hope to see you in September, Serene. I think you've already registered, right? Is that right?
Yeah. I don't know.
No, I'm talking to Serene. Yeah. Awesome. So anyways, all right. Well, I'm going to, thank you for the great session. Thank you for being here, everyone. Yeah, mark your calendars. If you can't make it to September 13th, do mark your calendars for November 8th. I will be announcing that after the September event is finished, because November 8th is when I actually set aside time for you to do business planning, and I walk you through business and life planning. because I know it's really hard to take the time to do it for yourself. So I create the space where you can get it done, or at least get it really far along the path of being started. Business planning doesn't happen generally in a single day. It's a multi-day thing. So far, I'm not doing multi-day events for it, but I will give you enough space to get a lot of your planning laid out and have a structure to have a really, really clear plan about what you're going to take action on in the coming year. With your business, with your life, and have that, like I call it the master plan event, right? Because your business plan is there to support your life. So we want to be really clear. What are you trying to create with that? What are you trying to create with your life? So, okay, awesome. Gary, love to hear from you. What was different in this session with me than you've experienced before? Because you have been through coaching programs and whatnot. Putting you on the spot, Gary.
Yeah, programs that I've actually been certified to coach in are things like Craig Proctor. I think you're with Remax, so you're familiar with that. Brian Buffini, Lou Tice, Kenny Blanchard, Kathleen Black, and all those over the years, and they're all great. A lot of them say the same stuff. But bottom line is, I think I've been doing it. I know some of the guys on here, you know, like Nat and stuff, but I've been doing this 29 years. And the hardest thing is, first of all, things are changing. You know, we used to take full page ads out in Real Estate Weekly. Well, Real Estate Weekly used to be 20 pages. Now it's 1 or 2. And you have to have a paradigm shift or you're done.
Yep.
And things used to change every 4 or 5 years. Now they're changing every 4 or 5 months.
Yes.
So what I liked about what you laid out, Deborah, is it sounded like you were, and there's a couple coaches now are starting to go that way. It sounds like you're a little bit more into not just business coaching, but a little bit life coaching. And we don't like to admit that we need that.
Yeah.
But you mentioned earlier about priorities and you know how we sell our soul to real estate. And you know, I saw a saying one time, it's not the hours you put in, it's what you put in the hours.
Yeah.
And I just like the way you presented, like, okay, we got to take some steps. I like it that you're pretty straightforward, not too sales pitchy, that you said, hey, this isn't a sprint. This is you need some patience. So I haven't heard that too much because coaches don't want to say that, because then that's going to turn people off.
Yeah.
Because they want it's, you know, we want drive through real estate where we go to the first window, we order, we pay, and then we want to pick up our food at the second window. And that's not the way real estate works.
Exactly. And you know, you're exactly right. It's like, it's not a little bit of life coaching. I'm a holistic coach. And I had one guy, 30 years in the business, was completely freaked out by me when I said the word holistic. I'm like, I'm not interested in working with you if you're not going to come to the table with all of you. Because what's the point in getting more listings if you're burnt out, your relationships with your wife is breaking down, because you're never home, and and your cash flow is a mess because you haven't done your taxes in 3 years because you've been too busy, because let's face it, it's not fun doing taxes. And it's like, you know, some people ignore it, even if they have the money, or they're borrowing from their taxes and they have to pay themselves back all the time. And like, so it's the whole package. And you're right. I'm like, the promise to get more listings. Yeah, you will get more listings if you have the basic skills. And you're right. The market is changing. The pace of change is so dramatic. At the Pac West conference coming up in the fall, their focus is on AI and how to use it.
Mm-hmm.
And I pitched to do a session on, yes, use AI and build your basic sales skills so that you're using it from a place of really knowing what you're doing. Because at the end of the day, you still have to deal with the clients. And they asked me to do that another time, not this year, right? Because there's this like neglecting, I think, of basic skills of communication.
Well, one coach said one time, don't, you know, reward behavior, don't reward results, because if you have the behavior, the results will be there. And we, as realtors, I mean, we don't buy groceries until we actually get a commission check, right? So there's a lot of incentive on our part,
yeah,
to do what you have to do to get that deal quick. But I find a lot of realtors, most realtors, and like I said, I've been doing this 29 years. Most realtors are not far-sighted. They're going for that quick commission check. And if you're going to look at that as a job, your whole career, you're going to be pounding the pavement. If you're going to look at it as a business and a career, like a business, then you're going to build it like a business and you're going to act that way. And it is too there's some similarities, but there's two different ways of your motivation and your purpose and your why.
Absolutely, right?
Yeah.
It's different, right? I talk about in my money mindset work, it's like, and your profit planning, like plan for profits, plan to be profitable. And your motivator, your money motivators, those are not the same as your why. And people confuse them all the time that, oh, well, I want money to buy a boat. That's my why. I'm like, no, it's not. Like my why is actually to inspire people to live aligned and prosperous lives, right? That you don't have to be burnt out. You can be in your genius, you can enjoy your life and be prosperous. It's you can have both. And that's my purpose, my why. I'm driven. And it's the same when I was a teacher, you knew me as a teacher. And it was to actually change lives. I want to inspire people to do what inspires them and to, find joy in learning and growing and being who they are. And so, and discovering what's possible for them in their lives. And that's what I did as an English teacher. I helped kids discover what they were capable of being and doing, right? And it's the same in my coaching. So, yeah. And if you don't run this business like a business, it will bite you because you're doing hand to mouth, you're doing, I got a commission check to pay myself back, you're paying yourself back, you're borrowing from your taxes, you're not running it like a business. No business would run that way, right? So in order to take a stand for your business, you've got to run it like a business. It cannot be a hobby or a lifestyle business. I have had way too many people when I started working with me discover when we start going through their profit and their profit and loss, that it's costing them money to do this business. I'm like, well, either you get out or you change the way you're doing it because it's a way too expensive a hobby. Because I always said I was with Remax. So later in my career, it's like, just to wake up in the morning and say, hello world, I'm a realtor, cost me $2,000 a month. So I can't run this like a hobby. So, right, it's really about really that shift of run it like a business and develop the skills. You don't get to skip over the skills. I don't want to be salesy, they say. So they don't bother learning sales strategy or language techniques and end up being salesy as a result. Because genuine sales is about influencing people to make a decision in their best interest, not about convincing them to do something they don't want to do. And people don't understand that until they actually dig into learning about it. So anyways, I'm going to shut the recording off. Thank you so much for being here, all of you. Gary, I really appreciate you coming. It means a lot that you would join me today. And when I have people who show up and they've been 30 years in the business and they're showing up to learn, that gives me such inspiration and hope for the business, that we've got lifelong learners in the business. And I think we really need that, and we need to have that spread around. Okay. All right. Scott, I have 5 minutes. I'm going to turn the recording off.